my name is Ruth with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we are hosting this luncheon today.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here joined with us. My name is Barbara, and I also work for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I'm a hostess. So I hope you guys enjoy your day today.
Well, hello, I'm Stephen Cook, and we're just getting ready here to start our big Bridging the Bay fundraising luncheon. It's May 2015. We have about 350 guests here today. They're going to help us promote Big Brothers Big Sisters, learn more about what we're doing, and raise some money to help us serve more kids with great Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And I have just met two of our great new guests this year. This is Jared and Joseph with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and we're really glad to have you guys here with us today.
Well, thank you for welcoming us.
Thank you for having us. Sometimes I think too it just takes a little bit of time with some of these kids to steer them in a different direction, give them a different perspective and a different way to go.
Thanks for coming. I'm Dexter with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
My name's Jay. I'm the Director of Partnerships for Big Brothers Big Sisters in Hillsborough County. This is the audio-visual booth of one of our big brothers.
Hi.
Who has been outstanding in helping us make sure everything looks good and sounds good.
My name's Iraida Quinones from MetLife Insurance, and I'm here volunteering.
Hi, I'm Laura Saunders. Thank you for coming today. Can't wait to tell you everything that we do and how you can help us help the kids in our community.
Hi, I'm Verlinda. I'm a child enrollment specialist out of the Big Brother Big Sisters Tampa office, and I want to welcome all of our special guests and thank them so much for being here for such a worthy cause. I'm 100% Team Big Brother Big Sister program, and thank you all again for all that you do.
You know, what's great about the luncheon is it's jam-packed with awesome stories, and the one that really jumps out at me is this mom, Medina Turner, and she's talking about how at her lowest point she knew her nephew needed a big brother, and she found it through Big Sisters. You know, I also had a chance to see Heather. I remember seeing little sister Heather when she was 7 years old, and she's now 12. She's so confident and just excited about life, and she wasn't like that several years ago. And I think it has to do with the fact that she has a person she can rely on, her big sister Tammy. So I hope people really got a feel for who we are and what we do. We need your support. Whether you support us as, you know, becoming a volunteer, or maybe you decide to invite us out to your company so you can encourage other people to get involved, or you support us through financial support, we really appreciate it.
Welcome. It's so great to see you all here. This is a room full of good friends, past friends, and friends to be, I know. I'm Stephen Cook. I'm the CEO of our local Big Brothers Big Sisters of Tampa Bay agency, and we're just so proud to have you all here today. And the first thing I'd like to do is introduce you to our little sister of the year, Heather. That's great. And, you know, I always get a little nervous when I come up and do these, so I'm really glad you're up here with me today.
Just go to your happy place.
Go to my happy place. Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to my happy place.
Do you have a dog?
I don't have a dog.
Do you have a cat?
I don't have a cat.
Okay, what makes you happy in life?
You know, working at Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Okay, do you have happy children smiling?
Happy children smiling. That's good. All right, Heather. Well, this is a pretty big crowd, huh? Not bad.
Nah.
That's not bad. All right. Well, if you don't mind hanging out with me just for a little while, and I'll say a few words, and then maybe we could get you to say a few words, Heather. Does that sound good?
No problem.
Well, that's great. By the way, how long have you been matched with your big sister?
5 years.
5 years. That's wonderful. And I hear you like to write songs and poetry?
I like mainly songs.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get to talk about that a little bit more later. You know, I think those of you who have heard me speak before, I've said, you know, I have one of the best jobs in all of Tampa Bay, maybe all in the world, because I'm doing something that I have a lot of passion for. And that's really working with some great kids in our community who really need a little extra oomph through the help of a big brother or big sister in their life. And these volunteers, these bigs, just spend a few hours a month with their littles. We call the kids littles and the volunteers bigs. I think you guys know that. But the impact that we have, and we're going to be talking about that today, it's just amazing. And I'm just so proud to be here and happy to be doing what I'm doing. Before we move forward with our program, we'd like to take a moment to thank one of our very special sponsors here today, and that's the MetLife organization. And would all the folks from MetLife that are here today, volunteering or here as our guests, just stand up and be recognized as our title sponsor? There they are. Whoa. I know Andrea Knoll, who helps us out, and we have a board member, Catherine Supernoff, who just joined our board earlier this year. Thank you so much for all you do. You know about MetLife, right? They're the company, they have Snoopy, I think, as one of their mascots. It's pretty cool. He sells insurance and stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool company. So MetLife not only helps sponsor events like this, they also provide us a large number of volunteers who serve as bigs in our program. And they also provide through their National Foundation funding for a Hispanic mentoring program. And in large degree, because of their support over the years, over 16% of all the children we serve every year here in this agency are Hispanic, and we're very, very proud of that. So thank you, MetLife. So how about if I turn it over to you, and maybe you can talk a little bit about being the little sister of the year. How does that sound? Is it okay if I sit down and start to eat, because I'm kind of hungry? Okay, all right. Heather, it's all yours.
Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm the little sister of the year. I just turned 12 on May 6th, but I was 7 years old when I met my big sister Tammy. I wasn't sure what to expect when my grandmother signed me up to have a big sister, but it was great when I finally met her. Tammy has been there for me even when things were tough at home and school. I was placed in foster care for a while, and at school, some of the kids would bully me, and it caused a lot of sadness and stress. Tammy has helped me through those times. I feel really close to her, and she's like an actual sister to me. Sometimes we go to dinner and hang out and act silly. I love when we get our nose done. And have girls stay out together. No boys allowed. Sometimes we go out to dinner or hang out and act silly. I love when we get our nose. Seeing her. My big sister Tammy even came to take over my school when I was named Hernando Student of the Year. It made me feel really good seeing her in the crowd. I think all kids should have a big brother or big sister. It's someone you can talk to. I hope you'll be a big sister. I hope I'll be a big sister one day. Thanks for letting me share my story. Please enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
So thank you, Heather, very, very much. Wonderful job. You know, last year in our now combined 7-county agency, we served 3,100 Heathers, 3,100 kids that Heather represented today. Now, actually, they weren't all exactly like Heather because 41% of those kids were boys, 59% were girls. I think we have some stats we were going to put up today just to show you what our littles, the profile of our littles for our agency. The kids are from everywhere, and they're all wonderful. 57% African American. I think I mentioned earlier, 16% Hispanic, 26% Caucasian. About a third, 5 to 9 years old. The biggest chunk, 55%, are 10 to 14 years old, and then 14% are between 15 and 18% years old. No surprise that a majority of our kids live in families at or below the poverty level. And in our combined agency, 25% of our kids come from families with either a parent currently incarcerated or formerly incarcerated. That also includes older siblings who are incarcerated. So gives you just kind of a quick profile of our kids. My little brothers are Richard and John. I think you guys have seen pictures of them before. We've been matched now for 8 to 9 years. They're finishing up their freshman year at Rock High School over in Lakeland, Florida, and very good friends of mine, and working hard to be successful. I'm a very, very proud big brother when it comes to Richard and John in many, many ways. So, you know, let's talk about successes. Let's talk about victories. Let's talk about some positive things. First of all, for the last couple of years, you probably have seen emails and notices from us about a license plate project that we've been working on statewide here in Florida. It's a Big Brother, Big Sister branded license plate. It's got a big beach chair and a little beach chair for the big little, and it has our beach towels on it. And that was actually designed locally by a firm up in Pasco County that is one of our partners. Well, we had to have 1,000 voucher pre-sales before the plates would go into production, and we only have until the end of June to reach that goal. Well, in this room, at this time, you are the first in the state of Florida to know that we have sold 1,071 vouchers. And I couldn't be happier or more proud. And our local agency, from the 7 counties that we represent, over 45% of those vouchers were sold in our 7 counties. So thank you and great job. This is a huge success. And I can't wait to get those plates on all our cars. It's going to be really a lot of fun. You know, another great success was the notification that we got from our national office, Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, several weeks ago. And, usually, you know how national offices are. You're like, oh, what are they sending us now? You know, more work to do, increasing our dues. You know how they are. But this was really, really good news. And the good news is that our agency has been selected as a gold standard agency for our accomplishments in 2014. And of the 325 agencies nationally, only 15 agencies reached this gold standard award. And we listed the criteria that's used by our national organization to select these, but as you can see, they have to do with the length and strength of our mentoring relationships. They have to do with the support that our professional staff provide these matches. Are they getting them done? Are they getting them done on time? Which is all monitored online today in a master system that's managed by our national organization. We also look at increases in volunteers, increases in revenue, and the total children served. And I'm just so proud that we did this. And it's a result of our merger. It's a result of our 2 agencies coming together on both sides of the bay, where one agency had particular strengths in one area and another agency had particular strengths in the other. And we came together and boom, gold standard award. I love it. I love it. That's what this was all about. So another success story and another achievement, that we're very, very proud of. Let's go to the next slide. So this is what our agency looks like now that we officially merged as of January 1. We kind of have taken up a good section of West Central Florida here, and it kind of makes sense geographically. We're kind of all together here with our 7-county region. We go as far north as Citrus County, which is wonderful. Of course, we've been as far east as Polk County. We've had Polk County since 1995, and now, of course, Pinellas County to our west. We have discovered some things since the merger. There are great kids everywhere. Everywhere we go. The kids are just wonderful, they're great, and so are the volunteers. I'm finding so much of commonality And you know, I used to say I like working for Big Brothers Big Sisters because whenever I say who I work for, people smile. People just smile automatically. It's like it's the best sales job in the world. And you just have to convince them, you know, that, okay, we need you to help volunteer and we need to help you work with our agency. So this merger is a third big win that I want to brag about today. You know, it took good, caring people on both sides of the bay to want this to happen and to make it happen. And you know, the mantra that I heard from everybody all along the way, if it means we're going to be able to serve more kids and serve more kids with quality, that's what it's all about. And so that's our commitment. Last year, collectively, we served 3,100 kids. This year, our goal, we're reaching for 3,550. And it's going to take everybody in our 7-county area to make that happen with both volunteers and with dollars. And we're very, very excited about that. You know, another win that I can't take credit for, but I think you all know that our national office, Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, has now moved to Tampa. And you may have seen her when she came in. I know that we have Pam Iorio, who is our national president and CEO. Let's give her a warm welcome. When Pam came and visited with us last fall and said, hey, what would you think if we moved the national office to Tampa? You know, after I pulled myself up off the floor and said, are you kidding me? I said, that would be the most wonderful thing in the world because, first of all, I think you know a few people around here who might be interested in helping out not just the national organization, but the local organization. But when Pam was mayor, we had a powerful partnership where we had city employees serve as mentors at some of our schools here in Tampa, elementary schools. And I forget the numbers, but it was probably close to 200 maybe at one time, who were some of the greatest mentors. It was the mayor's mentoring program. So we had experience with each other. So we couldn't be more thrilled to have our national organization in Tampa. And it's yet another step forward where Tampa, and Tampa Bay specifically, is becoming, you know, we're becoming a national force. And we're becoming a city that's noticed. You know, we have a great baseball team with the Rays. We've got an unbelievably great hockey team this year with the Bolts. Come on. If we could, we'd all fly up to New York Friday night for that game, Elizabeth, because we support them. But you know, we also now, do you know that our Big Brother Big Sister agency, as far as children served and money raised and budgets, we are the largest in the Southeast United States. We're bigger than Atlanta, we're bigger than Miami, and we have plans to get even bigger. That's big stuff. We're probably among the top 10 in the nation for what we're doing. But you know we can't do it alone. It isn't about Stephen Cook. It isn't about just 1 or 2 board members or some great staff or a few volunteers. It's really all of us to do this. We want to put up a chart just to show you for this year's budget where our money comes from. And you know, it has to be diversified. About 46% of our budget is from government sources. That includes organizations locally like the Children's Board, Juvenile Welfare Board in Pinellas County, State of Florida from the Department of Education, Department of Juvenile Justice, all great funders for ours. But you look at the other side, 54% of our revenue is from private sources. And those private sources are from people like all of you in this room today and thousands like you throughout our 7-county area. United Way funds about 8% of our program. Corps and foundations are about another 8%. But individuals, people like you and me who just write a check, that's 16% of our budget this year. And we want that number to grow. And why is that? Because those dollars come in with no restrictions and allow us to apply them in the areas where we think we can do the most good in recruiting the most kids. And it all comes together with funding and great volunteers. We're so proud of so many of the great partners, you know, that we have here. We recently, since the beginning of the year, have formed a great new partnership with Metropolitan Ministries, who's represented here today. Sure. And they came and they talked to us and they said, we'd like to partner with you to help some of the kids from some of the families we serve. And of course, you know, we all have stereotypes of what a homeless family is like, and are they stable enough to provide a mentor too? And through our meetings and our partnership, we've learned absolutely yes. And through our partnership, they're going to help us identify some great kids from these families that could benefit from a big brother, big sister, and also volunteers who are tuned into the homeless population and what they can do. Tampa Jewish Family Services and the Tampa JCC approached us, and they said, you know, we've been thinking about starting our own mentoring program, but we would rather do it with someone that has a lot of history, and we would like to do it with you. So now we formed a partnership with Tampa Jewish Family Services to do that, and to try to recruit more children and volunteers from the Tampa Jewish community. And we're very, very excited about that. We want to form similar partnerships with all different types of groups in the community. This can be their mentoring program that we administer. It can be their way to get more people from their communities involved, whether it be the Muslim community, the Catholic community, the gay and lesbian community. We don't care as long as it's people who want to get good, caring volunteers reaching more and more of our kids. Because we always have hundreds and hundreds, thousands of these kids on our waiting list. You know, we have so many great friends in the room today that are helping us achieve our goals. We have some great friends from the Department of Juvenile Justice that are here, from Tampa and the Tallahassee office. They're just great partners. We have great partners from corporations like TTTC and the Tampa Bay Rays, who are going to be talking a little bit later. I mean, the list just goes on and on. We have all of our great board members. And let's take a minute here with our board members that are with us today. Would you guys stand to be recognized? These guys do so much work. I will never take it, I will never, what's the word I want to use here? I'll never take for granted a great board of directors, and I think we have one of the best in the nation. I'm very, very proud. We also have a staff now, a combined staff of our two agencies that are just phenomenal. We have almost 100 staff now that work in offices in our 7 counties who help make these great matches, who help keep them safe and help do the good work that we do. Could all the staff in the room stand, and just so everybody can see who you are and be recognized. These guys make me look good, which is no small task. So thank you all very much for being here today. Thank you for listening. After the program's over, I and all of our staff will be around if you'd like to come up and talk and have other ideas that you'd like to share. But now I'd like to move on to our next speaker. And you know, of all the people who really make our agency special, when you think about it, we couldn't do what we do without the great parents, grandparents, and other legal guardians who make that call to our agency and say, my little girl and my little boy really need some help. Can you help us? So I'd like to introduce you to one of those great parents, Budina Turner, who has a son who has some children in our program and would like to share her story. Thank you all so very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, I'm Budina Turner, and these 2 boys are my heart, John and Jacob. And that's Jacob. He's 6 years old, sitting at the table right there. And he's a little brother in the program. I didn't give birth to them, but they're my sons all the same. And if you would have asked me 10 or 15 years ago, I would have never predicted that I would become a mother in that way. I'm originally from New York, and I'm proud to say I was a basketball standout, not only at the University of Georgia, but I also played in Europe, and despite a promising professional athletic career, family emergencies brought me back to the United States. First, my sister was diagnosed with cancer, then my father had his own battle with the disease, but they both have passed away. And then came a time when my nephews, John Henry and Jacob, were about to be placed in foster care. I couldn't let that happen, and that's how I became their mom. It's been a difficult but amazing journey. John Henry is the youngest. He has cerebral palsy, and even though Jacob is only 6 years old, he really has taken the role as a big brother. He takes care of John Henry, helps him tie his shoes, or put on his clothes. It is so heartwarming to see, but at the same time, I knew Jacob needed a chance to be a kid. Not worrying about the adult things kids shouldn't have to worry about. Jacob needed an opportunity to have fun, and he desperately needed a male role model. There's a lot I can teach as their mom, but having the presence of a male is invaluable. I had always known about big brothers and big sisters, but it wasn't until we ran across some rough times and were living at Metropolitan Ministries that I made that call. When Big Brothers and Big Sisters staff interviewed us, they asked lots of questions to learn more about Jacob. My biggest fear was, what if the person they selected didn't like my son? Who couldn't like that little kid who's 6 years old? And I even told them what type of big brother I thought would be best for Jacob. But the staff really knew what they were doing. They took into consideration my son's personality, his likes and dislikes, who would be a good fit for Jacob. They would call me every week to let me know that they were trying to find someone just for my son. It took about 8 months, and when they matched him with his big brother Joe, I realized he's exactly what Jacob needed. Joe is very laid back, Jacob is very energetic, and it kind of matched because they're completely opposite, and the relationship works. They get together on weekends, and they both love roller coasters. Joe really don't like he really loves roller coasters, but not me. That's not for me, so that was a good thing. Because I knew Joe took Jacob skating for the very first time. Although Joe never tried on the skates himself. And I thought that was really nice that he, haven't skated in so many years, and he got on. And I've always started to notice a change in Jacob. He's freer now, he's able to enjoy his childhood, and it's interesting. Jacob really looks up to his big brother and actually listens to him when he talks about consequences. I could say the same exact thing to Jacob, but for some reason, it seems to carry even more weight when he hears it from his big brother Joe. There have been a lot of things to look forward to this year. On a personal note, the boys and I are living on our own. I'm back in school getting my degree, and while my dreams of a basketball career have been put aside, I'm seeing my boys thrive. I never thought I would ever need to call big brothers and big sisters. I'm so glad I did. Joe could have been here today, but he is out of town. But it was here I would tell him that he has truly changed Jacob's life. And I really appreciate big brothers and big sisters. And Jacob did stay out of school today for this event. He's very excited. Thank you.
Wow. My name is Brian Auld. I am team president of the Tampa Bay Rays and a board member of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And before I get to my remarks, let me just thank you, Medina. That was an incredible story, a story of courage, of vulnerability, and ultimately of perseverance. And while she didn't mention it, I want to recognize you before you leave the room for being the first ever recipient of the NCAA's Perseverance Award. And given the story that we heard, I think it's going to be a hard legacy to follow. Not only that, our Tampa Sports Commission has also honored her with the Freddie Solomon Moral Courage Award. So congratulations on that as well. It is truly an honor to be here today. I'm a little nervous, but I'm taking comfort in knowing that my friends, family, and fellow board members are more nervous right now than I am about what may come out of my mouth. I came to Big Brothers Big Sisters in 2007 when I was in a leadership Tampa Bay class with Stephen Cook. And over the course of that class, Stephen came to understand that I had spent my career prior to joining the Rays serving as a teacher in East Palo Alto, California. That population that I served was low income, primarily minority, many broken families, many single parent homes. And so I had a passion and understanding of some of the issues that Big Brothers Big Sisters faces right here in Tampa Bay. Stephen and I got to talking, I agreed to join the board, and we began to work on a Rays Big Brothers Big Sisters partnership. At the Rays, our mission is to energize our community through the magic of Rays baseball. We are primarily focused on winning baseball games, and we put a lot of our heart and soul into doing that. But we have to know that it's more than just baseball for our lives to have meaning and for our organization to have real purpose. So that's why we seek to partner with organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters. Stephen and I got to talking, and I came to understand that one of the most significant issues facing Big Brothers Big Sisters was the ability to recruit male mentors. And it's not just because men are lazy or pretend that they have too much to do. It's also because being a mentor can be very intimidating. If you think about it, it makes perfect sense. If I were to tell you today that you were going to go spend 4 hours with a stranger from your own socioeconomic background, from your own age group, you'd still look at that as a bit of an awkward situation. Now consider the fact that we're matching you with a child, possibly from a very different background. It can be a lot to handle, a lot to wrap your arms around. So we created a Sports Buddies program. We thought, what better way for men and boys, and for anyone of any gender, frankly, to meet than at a baseball game, watching the game, talking about the game, and then discussing whatever else comes up. That program's been incredibly successful. We've seen hundreds of matches. We have a great tool for recruiting male mentors in particular, and we've seen any number of great matches created over the years through it. I'm also pleased to say that we've exported that program through Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, among others, to agencies across the country. It's really a great leadership role that this agency has taken for everybody else. Beyond that, at the Rays, we have a policy where every employee is given one paid day off per month to volunteer in the community. They can do whatever they want. And I'm pleased to say that we've had nearly 50 of our staff sign up to be bigs through that policy. That's 50 matches that wouldn't happen otherwise, and 50 partnerships that are leading kids on a forever different trajectory in their lives. I came to really personally understand what Big Brothers Big Sister does, though, by watching my wife and her little Megan. My wife's name is Molly. Molly and Megan, glad that was a good joke to hit. Molly and Megan spent a lot of time together. They do things like go to the beach, they go to the movies, they'd go to a restaurant, they'd get manicures and pedicures and do any number of other things. And I started to realize when I would talk to Megan after these events that they were literally the best days of her life. Megan had an incredibly challenging childhood. She had incredibly difficult circumstances that she was dealing with on a daily basis. And when Molly picked her up, it was a respite from all of that. It's incredible, and if it's all that this agency did was take kids from those difficult situations and give them a few hours a month, a couple hours a week, away from the daily challenges that they face, it'd be more than enough. Many of our kids have only been to the beach because their big has brought them there, despite the fact that we live in Tampa Bay. Many of our kids only get to see a movie or go to a ball game when their big takes them to that event. It really is powerful, and it's really incredibly meaningful. But of course, we know that Big Brothers Big Sisters is so much more than that. We know that after those incredible experiences are shared, graduation rates go up, truancy rates go down, juvenile delinquency rates go down. We see kids' lives forever changed because they have a big. I've been president of the Rays for about 6 months now, and during that time, I've worked to meet with as many community and political leaders as I can, particularly to discuss the issues affecting our neediest neighborhoods. I have to tell you all, it is dire. The cycle of poverty has not gotten any easier to break. We have hunger issues. We have single-parent homes. We have too many incarcerated parents. We have too many kids dealing with the juvenile justice system. We have a lack of role models. We have an education system that can be difficult to manage. And these things don't happen in a vacuum. They're happening simultaneously. They make it so hard to pull a kid up, to give them a chance, to give them the opportunity that I know everyone here wants to provide. And yet, nonetheless, I remain so optimistic because I see what this program does. And every leader, to an individual, the one thing they told me that I should walk away with was you have to show that you care. The Rays have to show that they care. We have to show that we care. You just have to care. Bigs care. Bigs care so much that sometimes it freaks the littles out. Why is this person showing up randomly and taking me to the beach on their Saturday afternoon? I don't get it. What's in it for them? Why does this person care if I do my homework? Nobody else cares. Why is this person taking me to the movies? Don't they have their own friends? Until months pass, and sometimes years, the littles remain skeptical, and then they start to understand what unconditional caring is really all about. It's so powerful. It changes lives. We've seen bigs in our agency single-handedly make sure a kid doesn't fail the 3rd grade, make sure that that stigma is not attached to them, set them on a path of success for the rest of their educational career. We've seen bigs show up in the court to make sure that the juvenile justice system awards the second chance that the kid so richly deserves and needs. Many of us, I would say all of us in this room, certainly me many, many times, has gotten second, third, fourth chances. Sadly, insanely, the neediest in our community are the least likely to get those second and third chances because they don't have people that will vouch for them, unless they have a big. Bigs care. Stephen mentioned that this past year we were able to merge the 2 agencies on either side of the bay into one Big Brothers Big Sisters of Tampa Bay. We did it for a lot of reasons, and I'm so proud of the board members and the staff that we've done it seamlessly, we've done it efficiently, and we've put ourselves in a position to serve even more kids than the individual agencies did on their own, and at an even lower cost. But the biggest reason that we did it, and the reason that I'm most proud that we did it, is because we are one community. Tampa Bay is one community. We work together. I've been here for 10 years now. For some of you that may seem like a long time, for others you look at me like another one of the newbies. It doesn't matter, it's longer than I've lived anywhere else, so I consider Tampa Bay my home. And I love it here. And what I love most about it is the communal spirit that we have. You all can look around this room and you will recognize faces beyond just your table. You know each other. We root for one another. We share in each other's business successes. We share in each other's political successes. We're all in this game together in Tampa Bay, and it's a feeling that doesn't exist in other markets. I can tell you that. I've been there. It's really, really powerful, and it really, really enables us to achieve great things. But with it comes great responsibility. The same camaraderie, the same familiarity that we use to prop each other up, that we use to cheer on whatever anyone from Tampa Bay does on a national level like crazy, it cements a responsibility for us too, to our neediest populations. We can't forget about them. We've got to show them that we care. There are hundreds of kids on the Big Brothers Big Sisters waiting list right now. This is families, kids who have said, I want a mentor, and we've had to say, we're working on it, we're doing everything we can, but we don't have one yet for you. We don't even know how many other kids aren't on the wait list because we can't honestly tell them that they should join because the likelihood of finding a match for them before they age out is too low. We've got to solve this problem. We can solve this problem. Kids who need bigs need to get them, and we can make it happen. I have to imagine that Medina was in an incredibly vulnerable place when she showed up at Metropolitan Ministries, when she asked for a big for Jacob. And we've seen what that can do. We heard about it today. She saw that people cared. Jacob sees that people care. He's got Joe in his life now. Things are going to be different, and they're going to be better. They already are. We can make that happen. I thank you all very much for your time. I thank you very, very much for your support of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I thank you for everything you do in the community. And I am going to introduce now a video to tell you a little bit about one of our longer lasting matches.
It all started back in the 1990s at Carrabba's Italian Grill.
I was working for Carrabba's and I was opening my first restaurant, and Joel came for a couple of days. He came in to help, and I remember him standing at the end of the pasta bar, and I said to my now best friend, River, I said, River, that's the kind of guy right there I want to marry.
At that time, I was a kitchen manager. When I went to that opening, I'm in a position where I'm talking to people, and that makes you look much better than you really are, so I think that helped me out.
Might have helped.
Some 10 years later, Holly and Joel did marry. Holly continued with Carrabba's for 17 years, and today, Joel is Carrabba's Vice President for Research and Development. Growing up thousands of miles apart, Holly in Richmond, Virginia, and Joel in Sarasota, Florida, they shared two things in common. They both were raised by just one parent, and both of their lives were positively influenced by their bigs. This is their story.
My mom was divorced from my father when she was pregnant with me, so I never had a father figure around. So I had to emulate my brothers and sister. My sister really did most of the raising because mom was gone. She had to put food on the table.
My mom passed away when I was 7 years old of cervical cancer. So my dad was left with 3 girls. Didn't really know what to do with us. So I think somebody at work recommended Big Brother, Big Sister program to him, and when I was 9 years old, so about 2 years after my mom had passed, we entered into the program, and me and my 2 sisters all got bigs.
I do remember when my mom signed us up, and I called her the other day just to make sure I was remembering properly. And my mom did it without talking to us. She just knew, there had to be a father figure around, 3 boys terrorizing the house, and my poor sister, who's the oldest, was taking the brunt of it. My big brother, Russ, would come around, and I got to know Russ on a personal level.
My big sister, her name was Ann Spite. She meant everything well. She came from a very good place. I was not really sure where to come from, and very, very shy and introverted. So I wasn't. It took me a long time, I think, to open up to her. I remember her taking me bra shopping for the first time. As a child, I don't know if you realize, you think about having your mom, you know, when you get married, or having your mom when you graduate, until you're at those moments. And then, you know, that day when I remember needing to go bra shopping, I thought, wow, how am I going to tell my dad? And I was all of a sudden stressed out about it. And you know, Ann really helped me navigate that world.
So I met Russ's father, and Russ's father would always make these trinkets and these puzzles that you would work with your hands. He sat me down and put this box of puzzles in front of me, and I figured them all out in one day. So he couldn't believe it, I couldn't believe it, but that positive reinforcement, I really struggled in school. I was really bad in school. I didn't reach out for very many people, but that positive reinforcement really changed the direction of my life.
Through my whole life, I've always genuinely wanted to help people and take care of people, and she really was a perfect match in the fact that she was exactly who I wanted to be.
What would I tell Russ? Really, thanks. Thanks for taking the time. You have, you know, special teachers growing up, but unfortunately you're not with those teachers very long. You know, they're 1 year, and they're maybe an hour or 2 a day, and so to be able to have that long lifetime effect is challenging, but yeah.
I think that my mom definitely had a part in sending her there and knowing that my father would need help, and I think we all got exactly what we needed, and I almost feel like she sent her. She was a gift from heaven. You know, Big Brothers Big Sisters is such a great organization. They have helped change my life and the life of my husband through the years, and we could not be more fortunate. If you have any time at all, or even if it's just a financial donation, everything makes a difference. So it's really important to support these children. The impact on their lives is immeasurable.
Hi, I'm Tammy Curtis, and I'm proud to say that I serve on the board of directors for Big Brothers Big Sisters Tampa Bay. Sorry, let me get situated here. Okay. Thanks, Heather. I heard that giggle. I feel much better now. It's really wonderful to hear stories like Holly and Joel's. Sometimes as bigs, you may not know what kind of impact you're having while you're in the moment, but Holly and Joel's story really shows the lessons that are learned and remembered years, even decades later. And while we talk about how the child is impacted, the big is changed too. I know because I'm a big sister. The young lady you met earlier today, Heather, Little Sister of the Year, is my little sister. Here's a picture of us actually in our first year. Being silly, one of the things we like to do, being silly, making each other laugh. We love selfies very, very much. Somebody asked me the other day if I had a picture of my little sister, and I said, well, I think I have about 1,600 of them. So let me show you a few. Face painting, baking cookies, definitely on the agenda when we get together. She loves hanging out with my dogs, spending time outdoors. But you know, most of the times it's really not what we do, but just enjoying our time together. We spend a lot of time on the phone and texting each other, talking about school, talking about the boyfriend. A lot of time on the phone for sure. Heather has had to overcome a lot of obstacles in her 12 years, more than any child should have to. But she is one strong little girl, growing into just an amazing, amazing young woman. When I met Heather, she was very, very shy. So not the girl that you saw standing up here earlier today. When she found out she was going to be on the program today, she started working on what she wanted to say. And she said, well, now that I'm 12 years old, I need to be much more professional. So we worked on some of her words earlier. This is a great picture of us with the opportunity to hang out with Chris Archer of the Rays. And it was really great because Chris Archer was going to read a book to the kids. And Heather sat down right next to Chris and said, well, why don't I read this book? And so she ended up reading the whole entire book to Chris and the rest of the folks that were in the team. And it's just such an amazing thing to see how the shy little 7-year-old girl that I met is now this brave and courageous, just incredibly smart and intelligent young lady who really doesn't let fear get in the way anymore. We've had a lot of fun experiences where she overcame her fear of heights. We went down the really big slide at the fair 3 times in a row. That's a lot of stairs to walk, but she wanted to do it. We've had some real milestones together. I took her to her first concert, Justin Bieber. So I earned a lot of points that day. We've seen the Harlem Globetrotters. We've swam with dolphins and just done some really cool things. I went with her to get her ears pierced for the first time. So, you know, while being a big doesn't always have to be about flashy, big things, it can be those rites of passage. Like the first time you get your ears pierced. The first time Heather went to a sit-down restaurant was with me. So there's just so many experiences that you can do as a big and that have really enriched our lives. Heather makes it very, very real for me. For every child we're serving, and we are serving a lot, more than 3,000, as Stephen mentioned earlier, about half of those are in Hillsborough County. There are hundreds more on the waiting list. They want a chance, just like Heather and Jacob, to have a big. So what's keeping us from matching them? First, we need the dollars. We need dollars to make sure those children are carefully and safely matched with the right adult. It costs $1,250 to match a big with a little for 1 year. And that pays for the background checks of every single volunteer who walks through the door. It pays for the volunteer training. It pays for ongoing support, coaching, and supervision provided by our staff and match support specialists. And it pays for the relationships that really do last a lifetime. If you ask Heather, she and I have a pinky promise that will be part of the program until she's 18, but we will be sisters forever. Don't you want to be a part of something like this special bond, this special relationship? I want you to take a moment and think about the investment that you'd like to make. Perhaps you'll consider supporting a big and little match for a year. That's $1,250, only a little over $100 a month. You can pay today, have us send you an invoice later. You can pay today. But you can spread out your payments each month. A little more than $100 a month can grow friendships that will last years to come. less than $3.50 a day, the amount you spend on a coffee, you can provide the financial support needed to sustain a match of the big and little. Your gift will bring hope to a child facing adversity, in need of guidance and support that only a big can give. Maybe you'd like to support a match for half a year. That's just $625 or $52 a month. Each dollar makes a difference and stays right here in the community. As we were driving here today, I thought about the question that Heather had asked, what does a nonprofit do? And the fact that I hadn't really explained that to her yet, so it was really neat to be able to say, companies make a profit and share it with their shareholders. Big Brothers Big Sisters, every single dollar that we get, we invest back into the programs, back into the children. So to explain it to a 12-year-old and for her to say, I get that, I like that. People really need to break their checkbooks out of this event, Tammy. You know, it was really neat to see that she really, really got it. I also know for a fact that some of you here today can do even more. To those, I would ask you to consider to pledge a gift for this year and even the next couple of years. A $5,000 annual gift over the next 3 years will change the lives of 12 children. Or maybe even commit today to sponsor a match for several years. All of these options and more are on the pledge card that I would ask now our table host to please distribute. As you're taking those pledge cards out, please take a moment to think about the stories you've heard today. Think about how you can help take another child off the waiting list. Think about the life you can change with your generous support. A child like Heather, several years ago, someone at this very luncheon stepped up and made a donation that set the wheels in motion for me and Heather to be matched. There are 1,000 other Heathers out there waiting for you to take that first step. Right, not actual Heathers. Thank you for clarifying that for me. You're right. We'll give you a moment to fill out your pledge card. I'll actually fill mine out as well, and please turn it into your table captains once complete. If you already are a multi-year, if you already have a multi-year pledge with Big Brothers Big Sisters, I ask that you look at the back side of your pledge card where you can increase your support in many different ways. You can increase your annual gift or add another year or two to your existing pledge. We thank you very, very much and appreciate your continued support. We hear from volunteers all the time, and I agree that you'll get as much or even more out of the friendship with your little. We'll pause now to give you time to fill out your pledge card. Thank you everyone so much. It looks like you've had time to fill your pledge card out. Heather and I made a recommitment, and we made a new pledge today as well. And I called Heather up because being Little Sister of the Year is an amazing accomplishment. Again, when I met this kiddo, 7 years old, very, very shy, and she's a different kid today. Last year, in 5th grade, she earned Turnaround Student of the Year in her class, and her whole entire school. Amazing accomplishment. So I got Heather a little gift to commemorate.
Wait, what?
Being Little Sister of the Year.
Wait, what's going on here?
So I got Heather a bracelet, a charm bracelet, with Tammy and Heather, Little and Big Sister of the Year, and then a music note, because she loves music with her name. And what we'll do now, up until that 18th birthday, that Hawaii trip, we're gonna put a charm on every year. And so that will commemorate our relationship as Big and Little Sister of the Year. Like that. It's because there's tears right behind my contacts, and I'm not letting them come out. Okay, just hold it now. So the last thing we want to do before we leave, we talked about the fact that Heather and I love selfies, so we'd like to get a selfie with everyone today.
Wait,
right?
we're doing one now?
All right.
We're doing a giant selfie.
Giant
Ready?
selfie.
Giant selfie. Wait, I think I might have to stand.
Ready? Everyone wave. Thank you all very much for being here. We appreciate it. And Heather has said she'll stick around for pictures and autographs.
Yes, I will.
I'm Pam Iorio, and it's my privilege to be able to run the national office of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And we couldn't ask for a better home than right here in Tampa. Today's luncheon highlighted why Big Brothers Big Sisters is so important in the lives of thousands of children and their bigs too. Because I think the story of the bigs and the impact that being a big has on their life is equally important. What a beautiful testimony today from Heather, and you could see in her eyes just how much Tammy, her big, meant to her, and then the gift of the charm bracelet, which you know she'll cherish her entire life. Just a very heartwarming luncheon. I think it inspires people to want to be bigs and also want to give. And so very successful luncheon. Stephen and his staff do a terrific job. Glad to be a part of the family.